After a busy Sunday of amazing playoff football with matchups that we've been dying to see, we're going to get another matchup that the NFL has been dying to see. I'm Logan Soforenko of the Campfire Series podcast. Let's recap what happened on Sunday between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go right to it. It started off with the Bucs defeating the Packers 31-26. I said that Tom Brady and guys needed to show up. Tom Brady didn't play statistically his best game. We'll get to that in a minute, but is this one of the Super Bowl 50 defenses carrying Peyton Manning to a Super Bowl ring type of thing? I'm not entirely sure, but let's just look at the numbers. They're not entirely the best, but, Tom Brady doesn't have the best statistical days when it counts the most, but let's just think about it like this. Super Bowl 52 when they lost, Tom Brady had 500 yards. It doesn't matter how, doesn't matter when he does it. He gets the job done when it counts the most. And I said this at the beginning of the year that Tom Brady was a system QB. He proved me 100% wrong. Let alone, there were 2 interceptions on back-to-back possessions in the fourth quarter. They were absolutely disgusting. The Packers could not capitalize on, and that just shows that the Packers did not deserve to win that football game. They had their chances, and they blew them. They had 2 interceptions by the same player, and the same player, Jair Alexander, getting them done. But before then, King was getting burnt left and right. It's pathetic. But then you look at Rodgers' numbers, you're like, how did this guy lose? He's been to 4 straight, or not 4 straight, but his past 4 conference titles games, he's lost them. It's insane when he puts up numbers like these: 346 yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the interception was a little controversial. It was, the thing is with those interceptions is the refs did not be consistent. Scotty Miller got that touchdown at the end. That's what that led to, but that was definitely a hold. And we'll talk about the refs in a little bit, but like I said, Tom Brady, he played okay and he found a way. But the sad thing is about Tom Brady is that he is in another Super Bowl and making a lot of New England fans just a little bit sad. But right there, Packers could not capitalize. It's so sad. Why did they not go for 2 in the beginning? Or when they went for 2, they shouldn't have gone for 2 in the beginning. They should have kicked the extra point and still have made it an 8-point game. And that just shows that St. Brown's drop was even more crucial. And the thing is with St. Brown is, the receiving core for the Packers, we know statistically, has not been the best. And Rodgers said that case at the beginning of the NFL draft. He's like, why didn't you guys get me some help? You guys got me Jordan Love. I didn't want this. I'm going to have an MVP season. He had his MVP season, but his receivers definitely showed a little bit. You saw last week with the Allen Lazard drop, and you saw this with the St. Brown drop for the 2-point conversion. That it always seems to be in conference title games that 2-point conversions, if they're missed, they come back to bite you. Extra points, if you miss them, they come back to bite you. But the real question is that everyone's asking is, should Rodgers have run it in? I think he could have. I think he should have, but that's not the way he's played football. But you'd be shocked. In the Rams game, he had a rushing touchdown. Why couldn't he get one there? It was a little sad, but this is what is the most sad. The refs were consistent until when it mattered. Now, we talked about Carlton Davis, who targeted Davante Adams and should have been ejected, but was not. But it's okay. Adams burnt him on the next play. But let's talk about the play at the very end of the game, the pass interference call. Was it a PI? Yes, absolutely. It was a PI, a defensive hold, whatever you want to call it. It should have been a first down. But what I got a little more sad about was the fact that there was holding right in front of our eyes on 2 offensive linemen, and they could not call it. But nevertheless, Brady wins 3 road games to play a home Super Bowl. He did it. They weren't pretty games at all, but he faced who the Saints were hyped up in the regular season. The Packers were the most hyped team in the NFC. They had the best offense. I took them last week. That shows you what I know about predicting things. We can't predict the future, but everyone is so excited to see this Super Bowl with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. The sad thing is about this is Tom Brady can have a 500-yard game, but he needs to have a serious talk with Mike Evans. That's just a little bit. I said it on my Twitter. Mike Evans is good for a touchdown within 10 yards. He's not the new Michael Thomas, but he definitely is that slant boy, jump ball. That's what they call Michael Thomas anyway. But nevertheless, and Scotty Miller, what's he doing? He's saying that he can beat Tyreek Hill in a foot race. I'll take him. I'll take Scotty Miller, but realistically, no. But the problem is Scotty Miller just looks really fast once he gets by a really bad defensive back. And you got to realize that Chiefs don't have bad defensive backs. In fact, they have an all-pro defensive back. Anyway, the Bucs won. It made me sad, but nevertheless, I want them to win because this happened. The Chiefs defeated the Bills. Man, not the best luck with predictions last week. 0 for 2. Like a lot of people who watched last week, they said, I agree with you. Packers, Bills. That's what a lot of people wanted to see. That's what a lot of people thought was going to happen. We thought the Chiefs were going to fold, but Patrick Mahomes freaking responded. Look at the numbers. 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception, and look at that completion rating. Insane. And this guy had a concussion the week before. But nevertheless, dude, Patrick Mahomes is so fun to watch. He literally, not only is he going to run this league for the next decade, he's doing it in a different way Tom Brady did. Tom Brady is a pocket quarterback, not a good athlete, but Patrick Mahomes is an insane athlete. They're comparing Mac Jones, the Patriots prospect, or the Patriots, I guess, eyeing quarterback in the draft. They're comparing him to Tom Brady because he's not the best athlete. That kind of system works for the Patriots, but it shows that the mobile quarterbacks in the AFC, Patrick Mahomes right there. But then Josh Allen, we'll talk about a little bit later. Josh Allen could not escape from a broken pocket. As you saw, most of his touchdowns came on a muff punt from Mecole Hardman, on an onside kick recovery. Okay, that was pretty fun to watch. But you look at the numbers, not the best. But the 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, I mean, Cam Newton would kill to have those numbers, but Josh Allen didn't play the best. He really tried. He really did. Cole Beasley was playing with broken bones, but I'll say it again, Chiefs are insane. But the thing is, with the broken pocket, the pass rush for the Chiefs was just insane. And that's how the Bucs won the game too. Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, they won the game for the Bucs. On those last 2 possessions, the sacks, the pressure, that's what kind of Super Bowl it's going to be. It's going to be a quick release type of Super Bowl. You're going to have big pass rushers and big defensive lines are going to be coming after them. And like I said about last week, if the Bills came to play, they were going to win. They did not come to play. They had a 9-0 lead, but we saw what happens when Patrick Mahomes gets a little bit of a deficit in a playoff game, as we saw from last year. But good Lord, Andy Reid is too crafty. You can't even compare him to any other coach. Matt LaFleur couldn't go for it on 4th down with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to kick a field goal. Yet Andy Reid's going to go for it on 4th down last week with Chad Henne? What? Come on. Andy Reid, he was never this crafty of a coach. Yes, he's been to a few Super Bowls. Yes, he's hosted consecutive Super Bowls, or beg your pardon, consecutive championship games in the home stadium 3 years in a row twice. He's a good coach, but we have never seen him this crafty. And I said it again, field goal? Come on. This is going back to the Bucs game. Why'd they go for a field goal? But nevertheless, with special teams, this guy right here, Mecole Hardman, is underrated. I know he had the fumble. And it wasn't pretty, but that man is so fast. And I know I like comparing him to not a skinnier version of Cordero Patterson, but definitely more lanky Cordero Patterson. This is Mecole Hardman's 2nd year in the league. He was with Georgia. He knows what it's like to be on the big stage. So when he was on the Super Bowl last year, he was just fine. This year, he's going to be just fine. He'll make the adjustments. And Patrick Mahomes is going to talk to him a little bit. And then this is just insane. 5 red zone trips, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers, no nothing. It's just simple. You get in the position to score, and you score. It's not hard for the Chiefs, which is really sad considering we've watched a lot of teams this year where they're like, uh-oh, run it, stop, uh-oh, fade up in the air, not going to get caught. It's really interesting to see that the Chiefs just completely dominate this football league. But let's get to a little more controversial topic. Jackson Mahomes and soon-to-be Mrs. Mahomes need to chill just a little bit. I think that with a lot of people in the NFL watching the best players in the league, they look at the families. And that's not a bad thing, especially when it's the best player in the league. When Giselle, or still, I guess, because Brady is still the best around and finding a way, Giselle wasn't the best. She definitely celebrated a little bit. She wasn't like, oh my God, let's go. Stop comparing him. Look, if you're going to, no one's comparing Patrick Mahomes to anybody. I'm not comparing him to anybody. He's in a league of his own. I'll never compare him to a Lamar. I'll never compare him to a Ryan Tannehill or a Cam Newton. He's not any of those quarterbacks. And I just had a really weird quarterback class to compare him to. But a lot of people give Jackson Mahomes hate for no reason. We don't need to give them hate at all. All I'm saying is that they need to chill just a little bit because we know Patrick is great. We just don't need to hear it from you. We see it on the field. But Chiefs Bucs. That's pretty hype. As much as we wanted Aaron Rodgers to get to a Super Bowl, this is the matchup that everybody wanted. And let it be known the fact that back in week 12 when the Bucs and the Chiefs played, The Bucs almost came back from being down by like 20 plus. It's going to be an amazing game. And you know where that game was? Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. It's going to be a really good game. But the problem is with this game is that if Patrick Mahomes plays like last Super Bowl, it's not going to be the best game as we saw because Patrick Mahomes statistically in the Chiefs last year, they didn't have the best Super Bowl until it mattered. In crunch time, they were down 10. They came back. They had Damian Williams. Are they going to have Le'Veon Bell this year or this Super Bowl? I don't know. Le'Veon Bell has kind of not been around for these playoffs. It's been Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I said it over and over again. He is one of the biggest steals in the 2020 NFL draft. As soon as Josh, you and I were doing draft coverage and we saw that they drafted him, I was like, good God, this guy was good. Because you watch him at LSU and you're like, okay, he's a good running back. A good running back out of LSU, that's a little bit different. It's not Alabama, because Damian Harris, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, you got all those running backs coming out of Alabama. You got one coming from LSU. You're like, okay, that's pretty nice. But I said it before. I thought Tom Brady was a system quarterback. I said it as soon as he left. I'm like, he's not going to do okay. Josh, you and I said that they would be a 9-7 team at best. Well, here they are in their hometown for the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, go win the whole thing. There's a thing that the Major League movie says, the one with Ricky Vaughn. Jake Taylor tells everybody there's only one thing left to do, and that's win the whole thing. And that's what it's not going to be easy. And quite frankly, I'm doubting that they're going to win. I'm rooting for them to win. But if we're locking in picks, I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs. And the thing is with the Chiefs is, I've said it over and over again, they're just a ridiculous team. Patrick Mahomes is going to go off. You can't stop Travis Kelce. He's better in his prime than Rob Gronkowski. Don't at me. I'm a Patriot fan. Travis Kelce is ridiculous. Tyreek Hill is ridiculous. Tyreek Hill's got to chill a little bit. But then you look at McCole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson. All those receivers are just fast and good and awesome. And the defense is amazing. You got Tyrann Mathieu, Daniel Sorensen, and Chris Jones. Pass rushing. I said it. It's going to be one of those games. If Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul play like they did last week, and Jason Pierre-Paul's been to a couple of Super Bowls, he knows what that kind of pressure is like. They could win this game. But I'm taking the Chiefs because obviously they are the favorite. They are the favorite to win. But Patrick Mahomes will have a great day. He's going to go into Tampa and prove a lot of people wrong, but Tom Brady's got a lot of people to prove wrong. But with that being said, everybody enjoy this Pro Bowl. It's going to be a really, really weird Pro Bowl. I know it's going to be done over Madden. Like, what are the odds of them playing Madden and it completely just disappears and it says connection interrupted? I mean, at least they got honored as Pro Bowls. That's what they're saying in the NBA. They're not gonna have an All-Star game, but they're gonna recognize people as All-Stars. That's pretty cool, and that's what you play for. You want to get recognized as that talent. But nevertheless, with that being said, that wraps up this live stream. We really tried doing these live streams the past 2 weeks. We're gonna keep it just these two. It's been super fun doing these, and enjoy this weekend's Pro Bowl. And we're gonna be back at it next week with our last episode of football with Josh, and then we're going to switch over to NBA. We got some really awesome broadcasters coming, but I'm going to say this quote for the Twitter at the very end. Tom Brady, I said you were a system quarterback when you left New England. I was completely wrong. You proved me wrong. You proved a lot of the NFL wrong. Go win the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for you. I'm not solidifying your pick, though. I'm going to take the Chiefs still. But with that being said, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and back to regular schedule programming. And don't forget to check out our theater episode we got dropping tomorrow. It's going to be pretty awesome.